Hello. We spend our entire careers building expertise. And it's because we believe this widely accepted notion that building experience over time results in expertise, which ultimately results in success. This is a big, fat lie. We're all content marketing experts here. Well, that used to mean something, but now there's 614 million of us. And our content marketing expert blogs are competing with 177 million others. Want to read a white paper by a content marketing expert? Perfect. You have 407 million to choose from. We are building expertise in a world overpopulated by experts. And maybe you're thinking, no, but I'm going to really niche it down and get known for this one very specific thing. Look, we live in a world where there's 5 million cuddling experts. This is a real thing. And there's cuddling conventions. We cannot niche our way out of this. We have to stop contributing to expert overpopulation. Not only is it a slow grind, but it actually takes us in the exact opposite direction of being infinitely more valuable. Welcome to the Matrix. I co-created this matrix with this guy, Andrew Davis. You probably all saw him at his opening keynote yesterday morning and know how completely brilliant he is. And we use this framework at our talent agency, Monumental Shift, to help develop established and rising thought leaders. So we've seen this in action. Let's walk through it together. Let me see your look here. Okay, on this side, we have accepted. On the x-axis, we have accepted, things that are generally recognized or believed. And all the way on the other side, we have challenge, things that question the conventional wisdom. On the y-axis, way down here, we have how to, detailed, practical advice. And up top, we have how to think, things that actively form a new approach. Now, you can plot any content that you're doing on this matrix. Your next blog post, your next e-newsletter, your next speech or book or Instagram post or video or podcast episode, any content you're creating, you can plot on this matrix. Today, we're going to focus on the two most important quadrants. One is this accepted how-to quadrant, or what I call Expertville. And the other is this how to think challenge quadrant, which we'll call the land of visionary. Let's start down in Expertville. I took the agenda of this conference and I plotted the sessions that fit into Expertville, meaning detailed practical advice about generally recognized or believed things. And this is what it looks like. How to leverage CTAs to improve conversions. How to optimize your content for mobile marketing. How to optimize, socialize, and publicize B2B content. 3 LinkedIn strategies to drive traffic. Content strategy and SEO for B2B lead gen. And on it goes. In fact, about 90% of the sessions at this conference fit neatly into Expertville. Now, I'm not knocking this content. This is good, useful, valuable content, and these people are great speakers. But there's 2 massive problems with Expertville. One is, it's crowded. It's so crowded, and because of the overcrowding, your content becomes a commodity. The other thing is that your audience doesn't actually know that they need you. Because if you're doing your job well and you're providing how-to content over things that they've accepted that they need to do, they go, hey, thanks for the tips and tricks. I can do this. Let's go to the other side of the pond, to the land of visionary. I also took the agenda and started plotting the sessions that fit into the land of visionary, meaning content that actively forms a new approach by questioning the conventional wisdom. And this is what it looks like. Break the wheel. Being better than best practices. Jay Acunzo. The death of content marketing, the rise of content marketers. Ron Tite. This is it. This is what the land of visionary looks like. It is far less crowded. By default, you are unique because nobody has the exact same vision as you, and your audience knows they need you because you've got them going, hey, you've got me rethinking my strategy, my approach, maybe my entire business model. I need to learn what you're talking about. Tell me more. The key to not only making our content matter, but to being in constant high demand, rolling in revenue, making an impact, instead of being an expert, become a visionary. This is not as unthinkable of a journey as you may expect. Let's take one of our examples, Jay Acunzo. This is Jay. Some of you may have attended his session yesterday. Jay was a content marketing expert. He started as a sports writer at the Hartford Courant, got into communications for ESPN, then he impressively added to his expert resume and landed at the I Ching Google. Then he continued on as a content marketer at HubSpot, where he landed as vice president of platform at NextView, an early stage startup company in venture capital company in Boston. Jay created a lot of content, and he launched his own personal blog called Sorry for Marketing, dedicated to creating quality craft-driven content. And then on September 25th, 2015, Jay wrote a blog post. The one secret thing all successful people do. They don't look for secrets to success in freaking blog posts. Well, this baby went viral, and this sent Jay into an existential meltdown. I mean, here's a guy who's dedicated his entire career to the journalistic integrity of long-form content. And now this piece, one sentence long, that actually makes fun of all the crap content out there, is his most successful piece as a writer. So Jay takes a big ol' step back and asks a question. Why does content marketing suck? And Jay, he knew what he thought, but he also wanted to see, what do other people think? And this is the overlap, is where he really wanted to explore to see if he could uncover some deeper problems. And so he launched Unthinkable, a podcast that became his vehicle for this exploration. And every week, Jay would interview other content marketers and entrepreneurs and craft-driven creators about what did they think? Why does content marketing suck? And pretty early on, Jay validated some of his thoughts, which is the problem is hacks. The problem is our shortcut culture. Everyone wants things fast. They want things now. But Jay then asked, well, why is shortcut culture a problem? And so he started speaking, and he went to conferences and started talking with more folks and to understand why did they think it was a problem. And then he started seeing the reason that shortcut culture is a problem, that we want things fast, is that now we're just all following the best practices. But again, Jay said, well, he asked, why are best practices a problem? I mean, they are the best practices, after all. And what he started talking to more people and ideating, and then he started thinking, well, maybe the problem is if we're all following the same best practice, are we all just playing at the same level of standard here? And so what he started sharing his ideas on tweets like, we need a Chrome extension that replaces the word best in best practices to average. And people started liking it and sharing it and retweeting and saying, yes, finally someone said it. And through all this exploration, Jay was finally able to see, the problem isn't just shortcut culture or best practices. These are symptoms of a bigger problem, which is that it has never been easier to be average. And so now Jay's starting to think, okay, well, what is the solution to this? And he didn't just answer it. He went on other people's podcasts and started talking with people and, sharing more ideas and getting more input. And he started to see over time that there was a gap between what the data says has worked and what your intuition says could work. And there in the gap is where the answer lies. And so that's what Unthinkable became about. Unthinkable, trust your intuition. Stories about rejecting conventional thinking and being more creative in business, because Jay got to the root of the problem. And this podcast really was a catapult for Jay's career. Unthinkable became a top-ranked podcast. Jay became a marketing influencer. He went from not getting paid to speak to making 5 figures a gig. He's now a full-time speaker and host. He's launched Unthinkable Media, where he works with B2B brands to help create and host original series. And he's publishing his first book next month, Break the Wheel. The pivotal moment in Jay's career was this question: why does content marketing suck? This is Jay's crossroads moment. Jay spent a decade down in Expertville. And by the time he asked that question, he was well on his way to the land of visionary within 2 years. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, how do we avoid spending 10 years in Expertville? Or 20, or 30, or our entire careers? We leap to the crossroads. The key to avoid that slow trudge through Expertville is to leap to the crossroads. And we can leap to the crossroads by asking a how to think challenge question. When we ask a question that actively forms a new approach by challenging the conventional wisdom, we can bypass Expertville. But it all comes down to what you want to build. Because experts build lists, but visionaries build legacies.